Hi, friends. This is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about American culture. And we're going to talk about women in space. All right. So, boy, oh boy, I will tell you right now, like, I'm all in on my main passion, Dungeons and Dragons. I ain't got time. I ain't got no time for American politics. I ain't got no time for American politics. I ain't got no time for American politics, right? And this is a huge change because normally I'm like, oh, what's happening in American politics? Now I don't give two rat tails. I do not care what happens in American politics. I know everything that's happening in American politics. You know why? Because nobody will shut up about American politics when they're talking about everything but American politics. It is everywhere. It is absolutely everywhere now, right? But what it's in everything. It's in every single thing. So what this turned me on to was I was listening to Josh Johnson, and he's like, hey, there's, they put a bunch of women in space and now women are upset. That nailed it. Like he's like, it's exactly what happened. It is absolutely wild. So that's what put this on my radar. But I want to talk about this. Okay, but we're not going to talk about this from the perspective of American politics. We're going to talk about this from the perspective of American culture. So I am very fascinated by American culture, and it is my opinion that something major is happening in American culture right now. Something huge is absolutely massive is happening in American culture, and that is women have realized they have won so hard that it's a problem, right? Like, women have thoroughly, utterly destroyed. American women have virtually, utterly destroyed American men. Hannah Rosen, 15 years ago, wrote the book, The End of Men. She was 100% right. The American male is cooked in the book, like absolutely done, right? And American women are, everything's up, right? American men, deaths of despair, dying left and right, just so sad, so destroyed, so utterly defeated by American women. Nobody needs them, nobody wants them, nobody cares about them. American women, everything's up. They're going to college like crazy. They're going to college, sorry, shouldn't use the word crazy. They're going I apologize. They're going to college at an outlandishly large number, and they're graduating at an outlandishly large number. Men, ain't nobody, none of them are going to college, and if they do, they don't graduate, right? Like, so they're uneducated, ignorant, nobody wants them, nobody cares, right? And so they all just like, make their way, and they're like, make their way through life. And then people are like, you suck, why don't you just go, and then they're like, I do suck. And then they just go take their place. They roll out into some alley, in the middle of the night, and they're like, oh, there's a dumpster there, I'll just hang out behind that and freeze to death. And that's what happens to them. Like, it is just absolutely nonstop, right? The American male, actually, you know what? The American male needs to be put on the endangered species list. They are ruined. There's like, count them out. They're done, right? American women, maybe they got a little bit of mercy for some men and they could save a few. I don't know. We'll see, right? But, and the reason why we're here is okay, so Blue Origin, first of all, let's talk about Blue Origin, right? All right, who's doing space travel today? Three groups in the world doing real space travel, okay? NASA, suck! They suck! NASA sucks! They do nothing. NASA sucks. Got it here first. Scott Garibay. NASA sucks, right? The best thing they could do now is sell a t-shirt to some, artisanal pencil sharpener from Brooklyn, right? Because it's cool to wear a NASA t-shirt now for some reason. I guess, it's cool because you're like, oh, hey, there's this organization that we pay billions to who does nothing, right? And gets rooked by billionaire hobbyists, right? So who else does it? SpaceX, Elon Musk, just casually puts rockets in satellites in space as a freaking hobby and outperforms NASA, right? Okay? And not by a little bit, by a large margin, okay? Next, Blue Origin, right? Jeff Bezos, casual hobbyist who is outperforming NASA on the regular, on the regular, right? Putting rockets in space, humans in space, satellites in space. You understand what I'm saying, right? So this last week, Jeff Bezos is like, hey, I wish I could put my girlfriend in space. And his people are like, you're a billionaire. Of course we can put your girlfriend in space. Why don't we put Katy Perry up there and add a bunch of other women just for flavor? I don't know who those women were. All I know is Katy Perry and Jeff Bezos' girlfriend up in space, right? Now, first of all, I would expect women would be very happy about this, right? Like, women would be like, hey, you know, a bunch of women are up in space. That seems like a massive progress. Women used to not go to space. There was a point where, like, they tried to put a woman in space and they couldn't even find any outfits, right? Like, they were like, we don't know if we could put women in space because we don't got no outfits for them, right? You're like, the suit don't have to have a dress. What are you talking about? You ain't got no outfits. Literally, we can't put them in space because we don't have enough outfits. Now, an entire space team is made up of all women. And guess what? Women are not happy. They're actually very unhappy, right? And they're like, we don't like this. Now, how do I know this? Well, see, again, I ain't looking for any information on this. At no point did I Google, hey, are a bunch of women up in space? No, I don't care. Like, I do not care about women in space. But all this week, all I heard about was women in space, right? Now, how? Well, Anna Akana, right? Why? So I follow Anna Akana. She is a YouTube skit specialist, right? Very good content. I like her stuff. She does these skits, right? She talks to herself in the skits. She plays men and women in the skits. And she is ruthlessly transparent about her own personal life, right? And she rolls hard. She is the biggest advertisement to never go to a couch scribbler, right? She has been going to couch scribblers for like 10 years, talking about it online constantly. And if you listen to her talk about couch scribblers, here's what she says. I've spent thousands of dollars on couch scribblers and they ain't fixed nothing, right? So I love her content. I'm all in on Anna Akana. She was torqued. She was like, how dare Jeff Bezos put a bunch of women up in space? She was very upset. Another one. Second woman who was very upset that women were being put in space is this, I don't even know her name, and I apologize that I don't know her name. She is a American YouTuber, young female YouTuber. I think she's college age, okay? Maybe a little more. And she's a very successful cosplayer, okay? So her job is literally getting invited to conventions. They pay her air flight, they pay for her hotel, and they pay her, right? Probably 5, 10, 20 grand to get her. That's my guess. I don't know, right? 20, maybe $100,000 to get her to a convention, and then she cosplays at your convention. Man, oh man, I love late stage capitalism. I love that that's a job, right? Like that you could dress up as an attractive Spider-Man, and people pay you like 20 to 100 grand for a weekend. Like that's wild, right? Now, maybe my numbers are off there. Please correct me if you know any of those numbers, because I am fascinated by that. I don't even know this lady's name. And the way I found her was that's her job, right? Now, she does a whole bunch of videos where she just shows her cosplay. I don't watch those, right? And the reason why I'm married, man. I ain't got time to be looking at young women in cosplay. That's not a good look for an evangelical Christian, right? But the way I found her is she does movie reviews. I'm a huge movie fan, right? So she did some movie reviews. So get this very attractive young woman has a super conservative dad, right? And she talks about him, right? And then she has outlandishly conservative ideas, right? And so she does these conservative movie reviews, and I find it fascinating, right? She was torqued. She was really torqued that Jeff Bezos sent a bunch of women to space, right? So this week, the story is Blue Origin sent a bunch of women to space, and the whole nation of women. I did not hear one single woman say one single good thing about this, right? So my read on this is the reason this is happening is American women have defeated American men so hard that they're like, we don't want any more wins. We don't want any more wins for American women. there isn't equality now. There is a situation where women have won so hard, they realize they are full dunking on American men constantly, to the point where it has become literally so embarrassing for men that it's literally dangerous to their health, right? And the embarrassment for men losing to American women has become so profound, right, and so absolute that literally men are dying over it, right? And so I think that's my read on this. Women saying, we do not need a single other win, right? We can start focusing on American men again. Women do not need a single win. We've won the war so bad. So we've won the war so hard, right? The war on men, the end of men, we've won it so hard that we don't want a single, don't even supply us with any new figurative ammunition. This is done. We're finished. That's my read on what actually happened this week in American culture. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Absolutely nothing more, absolutely nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.